My name is Herman Waingai. I come from West Papua. West Papua is a part of the Indonesia. Indonesia claim like it's one of the province. West Papua handed to Indonesian government without any consultation with the Papuan people that time in 1963. So that's since 1963. That's like conflict between Indonesian government and indigenous West Papuan people. Basically, Indonesian government just want our resources. Indonesian government doesn't want the Papuan people. That's very clear until today. And many statements done by the leader of Indonesian government, like I said before, Ali Martopo, is one Indonesian general that he said to Papuan people, if you want to fighting for your right for freedom based on the non-violent struggle, you have to go to another planet, or you have to go to another star or moon, so you can build your nation over there, not in this land. We have a lot of resources in our homeland, like biggest gold mining, like in West Papua called Freeport. That's one biggest company from America. So that's and we look at how economic interests from America government and Indonesian government, they don't like Papuan people to be free, because they want to digging a lot of resources from our homeland. I think that's the main reason. Until now, many people outside the world, they didn't know what's going on in West Papua, because the main reason Indonesia doesn't want to people outside the world know. So they ban every single foreigner people, including journalists and organizations like called ICRC, International Red Cross. They ban. You know, when I was in prison, the only organization, one organization can visit us in prison and then consider, they can look at, like, check up our medical condition. That's only from the International Red Cross. And then we got help from them. They send a lot of information about how bad condition when people are living in jail, and Indonesia, know like, oh, something, like outside, well, they get report now from ICRC, International Red Cross. Yes, in the past, I think in 1960s and 70s, our oldest leaders, those are living in jungle and called TPN, that's a West Papua Liberation Army. They just want to use like guerrilla fighters as the way they can achieve the goal. But that's in the past. We start to learn from those our leader, like Arnold Rapp and also Dr. Tom Waingai in 1980s. They try to change the nature of our liberation to based on the non-violent struggle, and then start from university. It's not start from the jungle, but start from the university, how to influence the other lecturer, and then from the lecturer they can talk to the students, and then students they can talk to their friends, and then how we try to mobilize people from the campus, from the university, as a based on the non-violent struggle movement in West Papua. There are a lot of student activists are living in prison, even just organize peaceful protests or struggling based on the non-violent struggle. Like myself, I spent a couple of times in jail, as an ex-political prisoner when I was 17 years old. I studied at university. I involved with the students' movement at that time in 1988. And for first time, I got arrested together with the other student activists and our political leader in West Papua. We got arrested because we raised Morning Star flag within university, and Indonesian authority came to us and arresting us. First day when I go to the room I was staying, Indonesian authority didn't allow me to toilet, didn't open the door for political prisoner. Even you want to go to toilet, but because door locked up, you can't go out. They say, Herman, this is your room. You can stay here. But the place I stay is full of the fresh blood. On the well, there's a blood. And I surprised because next day when I asked someone why this room was full of blood and then smell something is not good. And they told me like that's the other day Indonesian army just killed one West Papuan student activist at the room you were. So, oh. That's the one way how they try to make you sick when you were in prison. We won't forget about our uncle, Dr. Tom Waingai. He was poisoned when he was in prison. He died in prison when Indonesian government sentenced him for 20 years. So this is like life. Life in prison is extremely difficult. So one role I play is like as an educator, how to train Papuan students to choose non-violent struggle as our weapon. People power is our weapon. It's more strong than gun. I'm living in Australia, but that's the only way I can do is like just spend a couple of weeks or couple days in Papua New Guinea, try to talk with the other friends in West Papua after they cross the Papua New Guinea border, and then we talking about the tactic and strategy. Indonesian government look at how students movement or student activists mobilize Papuan people to go to the street, and thousand people can walk in the street. They're scared. And you know what's happening in West Papua? They send a lot of troops and then block every corner, every street in Papua. But never stop, can't stop a West Papuan student to raise their voice based on a non-violent struggle. So I really love it, the language about non-violent struggle. Mobile phone or cell phone is really help us how we can communicate each other. We don't need to send like in the past we type the information in piece of paper and then handle out to different friends, different people. But now just text the short code language, and then people they can come. It's like even I'm living in overseas and some friends living in West Papua, but we create like mailing list and we can share the general story, general information of what's been happening in US or in Australia. So that's help us to keep updating every single information, and people are aware about what's been happening. Desmond Tutu said, no one can stop people if they decided to be free. West Papuan people, even we don't have a gun, but we have the truth, something that Indonesian government can't take from us.